never trained for that before.
Okay, so what's the relationship like between the Diaz's and Gil? Are they still close? Like I remember back in the day with Strike Force, etc., etc. You always used to see the four of them together.
Yeah.
Are they still close? Like I just going off you quickly. I just wanted to know because Gil's opened his gym. There's no like hard feelings or anything towards one another, is there?
Oh no, I don't think so at
Oh,
all.
okay.
They look like as just as solid and supportive of each other
as before.
As they ever have. Okay. They're most interviews people want to ask me about Nick and the Fat Pack and everything. And,
yeah.
And I would love to act cool and be like, oh yeah, the other day when we were all kicking it and we do all this stuff together. But I'm not in the same weight class as those guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're not the main people that I get to train with.
Oh, okay. So you just get to watch them, kind of.
What's that?
You just kind of get to watch what they do instead of actually getting in there with them.
Yeah, I do a little bit more watching. Although they're super nice and they've all Gilbert and Jake and Nathan and Nick, they've all invited me to roll with them or train with them at some point or another. It's not like they're not welcoming at all. It's just that as you get closer and closer to a fight or you want to work on different things, sometimes it's nicer to have someone that's a little bit closer to your side.
True. Now, talking about relationships, etc., you and Miesha Tate know each other, don't you?
Miesha Tate is awesome. She's the reason I'm in the UFC.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She asked me if I would like to come out and stay with her and Brian to train while she was getting ready for a fight against Ronda.
Yeah.
And so I was out there. I was staying at her house training. I got excuse me.
No problem. Carry on.
I was at her house training when I saw online that Sarah Kaufman, who I had fought before, that she had a fight in the UFC, but her opponents were dropping out because they've gotten hurt or something.
Yeah.
And so I told Miesha, I was like, oh my gosh, I want this fight. It would be so cool if I got this fight. And then she actually texted Sean Shelby, the matchmaker, and she told him Leslie is right here in Las Vegas, and she can do everything that needs to happen in order to get the fight. And Caesar made some phone calls too. Caesar was working on it too, but it was months later that I was at a bar after some fights in San Jose, and I was talking to Sean Shelby, and he said straight up that there's no way that I would have gotten that fight if it hadn't been for Miesha calling him and telling him that I was there in Las Vegas and that I wanted it.
Well, that's good karma. Do you believe in karma?
I do.
Well, there we go. You do now.
I definitely do.
So now, in terms of Miesha, do you still train together? Do you still chat, etc.? Because she lives in Las Vegas now, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
And you are in LA.
I'm actually in San Francisco.
Oh, you're in San Fran.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you guys still get to chat and is there I know Miesha's gonna start preparing for Jessica I, so obviously you faced Jessica. Will you go across and help Miesha for that fight, or?
She's got a great training camp and great training partners, so I don't know that she needs my help.
Yeah.
I doubt that, she needs my help, but I'll definitely make myself available and do whatever I can to help her get ready. I actually just went out to Las Vegas and hung out with her and Brian last weekend.
Oh, excellent.
We flew out there and stayed out there. My boyfriend came with me. So, nice. I'll do whatever I can to help her get ready. And she's always super positive, and her and Brian are always like, when are you moving out here? They were so nice when they invited me out to train with her when she was getting ready to fight Ronda. Yeah. And that was probably one of the biggest confidence boosts that I could have gotten. Other other than when Chris Cyborg invited me down to go train with her, and then I did some MMA rounds with her, and that was cool too. But in both cases, it was the first time that another woman that I fought with had said, "Hey, you're good. Let's train together." That was a nice thing.
So what do you think? I know obviously you might be a bit biased towards Miesha, but having fought Jessica before, how do you think that fight's going to turn out? Like, who do you think's going to get that fight? Who's going to come out victorious?
Well, yes, definitely I'm biased.
Biased
but I
towards
also
Miesha.
have, been experienced with exchanging blows with both of them.
Yeah.
Miesha hits a lot harder than Jessica I.
Oh, really?
Jessica I, she lands a whole lot of punches, and it looks great for the rest.
Yeah.
But they're not fight-stopping punches. She got lucky in the fight.
What,
with
you?
me.
Yeah. That was going to be... Sorry, you carry on. That was going to be my next one about that. Carry on.
Well, it was just kind of a lucky punch, the way that it landed on my ear and opened it up. She was landing more punches, and refs love that, and the crowd likes to see that. Mm-hmm. But, she wasn't doing damage. She wasn't hurting me.
Oh, so you weren't hurt at all? There was no... You were there 100% of the time?
Yeah. I was 100% there. I wasn't, no, I wasn't.
Okay, you weren't walking down.
Right. I mean, I don't want to be that person who sits around and says they didn't beat me about something.
Oh, yeah, no, of course not.
But, she wasn't hurting me. Nothing about those punches were hurting me. So I see Miesha just walking straight through her.
Do you reckon Miesha will finish her, or do you reckon we'll see Miesha just take her down, grind her out?
Miesha looks for finishes. Miesha has good finishes.
Yeah, she's definitely dangerous.
Mhm. I see her finishing the fight.
Yeah.
I see her looking to make a big, huge statement, because there's always a bunch of naysayers out there.
Of course.
About, someone else should get this title shot, or give it to Betch, or Jessica should have just straight gotten the title shot. But they're full of it, because Miesha has beat everybody else. Jessica, she'd been losing fights until she got lucky and punched my ear.
Yeah.
And then Betch she's been winning.
Yeah.
But they haven't even been top 10 opponents. I mean, she fought Jessamine Duke, and it took her 3 rounds to finish her.
And you did it in 2 or 1.5?
I got a finish, period.
Yeah,
she never got a finish in that fight.
Yeah, true.
So it's funny people trying to say that someone else is deserving, but they're not. Miesha definitely is the most deserving.
Okay. Now, talking about that Jessica I fight, how is your... That's what... I've had everybody on Twitter asking me, ask her how her ear is. Ask her how the ear is. How is your ear?
My ear is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's got just a little tiny bit of cauliflower ear on top at this point.
Yeah.
It looks better than 90% of the other grapplers' ears out there.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. I like my cauliflower ear. It reminds me of how hard I've worked and the hours that I've put in. And
so there was no long lasting damage. It was just literally, like you say, it was almost like a Kimbo sliced Thompson fight where he hit him and his ear just blew up. Is that just that? There's no lasting damage. It's not going to happen again.
Right. No, it's not going to happen again.
Well, lucky. That's what we like to see. Now, you just mentioned Chris Cyborg. Now, obviously, at the moment, there's a lot of talk. The Cyborg fight, making weight, performance-enhancing drugs, da-da-da. I just have a question for you. In terms of all the bad news that's coming out now with the men, like people popping for this and people popping for that, do you think PEDs are just as big as a problem in women's MMA?
I think that it is really detrimental to our sport that people are such assholes to Chris Cyborg about PEDs.
Yeah.
Because everybody else, all the guys that have gotten in trouble for using steroids, and they're using the kind of steroids that make you stronger, that increase your muscle mass, that make you bigger, right?
Yeah.
And everyone just than anything an individual could do. And so, do I think that it's more of a problem in women's MMA? Everyone loves Ronda's sound bites about how it's more dangerous because they don't even make sense to me. The things that they say about Chris, because the PEDs that she was taking, they were to cut weight. They weren't even to get bigger or huger or stronger or more manly or anything like that.
Everything
they
that
were
they
to
say,
lose weight. Yeah. So I think it's great the way that Cyborg just keeps on training, keeps on doing her thing, and how she ignores the haters. And I wish that people would just drop it. She's been clean consistently for years now.
I know lots of tests have been run on her and stuff. But if we took Chris out of the picture, do you think do you think lots of girls are using PEDs, or is it just because unfortunately that one time with Chris, it's just not stained the females, but if you know what I mean, like it just brings up the question.
Right. Well, to my knowledge, the only women who have shown up positive for banned substances so far are Ashton Smith, and that was a diuretic because she was dropping weight.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just a weight issue that's being brought up.
So that's the only one that I know of. I know that Sheila Gaff, her name was big as someone who was using in the past.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't have proof of that. It's just that her name was commonly associated with it. I don't actually know of any women. That's true. Like it's very rare. Like I think nowadays it's if a lady or a girl had to pop up, it's almost like it's a huge wow. Pretty much. So I just wanted to get what is it like? Have you been? Has someone come up to you and be like, "Oh, I can help you"? Or have you ever been around? Have I been solicited for steroids?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I've heard about them.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to go get some right now, I can think of a couple different avenues that I would go for.
Yeah.
And I'm confident that if it was a do or die situation, that I could find them. But that's not something that I've ever been interested in.
I know, that's
it's not something that I want to do, not only because of the effects that it has on like the female sexual system, but also because I just wouldn't be able to feel right about that. I wouldn't be able to hold my head up high.
That's true. Fantastic. Now, a quick one for you. I've also been getting a lot of people asking about your ear. Obviously, we covered that. I'm not too sure if you've got a fight lined up or what you can tell me, blah, blah, blah. But what is next for you? Like, I know, obviously, are you cleared to fight yet? Is your ear cleared?
I am cleared to fight.
Okay, perfect. So what is next for you?
I'm 100% good to go to fight. And
Excellent.
so, Reese, I'm just training.
Yeah.
I've been training because I train because I'm a fighter, and that's what I do, and I like training. But I've especially been trying to focus on changing my mentality. I want to fight like Jake Shields does.
Yeah.
He comes out and he doesn't take damage, and he finishes fights.
Yeah.
And he can show up at any gym. He does show up at any gym. If you follow him on social media, you'll see posts about him going to gyms not just the country, but all over the world. And he goes and hangs with the very best guys in every single gym. And that's what I want to be able to do. So I've been trying to change the way that I've been thinking a little bit from I'm going to go out there and I'm going to pour my heart out into the middle of the cage and I'm just going to leave it all out there and who knows how it's going to go. Well, that makes for an exciting fight and the fans win, but at this point, I feel like I need to be a little bit smarter about protecting my body and protecting my career. And so I need to be making sure that I have really intelligent game plans going out where I am going to be protecting those two things, both my body and furthering my career by winning.
Perfect. So are there any talks of anybody lined up for you, or you don't know either?
I don't know either. I've been trying to ask to get onto the June Mexico City card.
Yeah.
Because Gilbert's fighting on that card.
Yeah.
And so, man, it would be so amazing to get to be a part of that. I had so much fun fighting in Mexico. The fans in Mexico were awesome.
Yeah.
The energy inside of the ring, inside of the stadium, was amazing.
Yeah.
The arena, that's it. The energy in the arena was amazing. And then I like the food. I like the culture.
Yeah.
I really just liked being there.
Is there anybody you would like to fight in particular? Like, is there anybody you look at and you think, oh, I would like to scrap with her, or?
Oh yeah, totally. Well, there's who are these? Okay, so first on my list is I want to fight everyone who is in the Ultimate Fighter.
Okay, so literally the whole cast.
Yeah, the whole cast. I've already fought Raquel and beat her. I've already fought Jessamine and beat her.
Yeah.
I would like to fight the rest of them that are in the UFC still. Sarah Morath. I'd like to beat her up, and I'd like to fight Juliana Pena. I'd like to beat her up because Juliana wasn't in the Invicta, but when those other women, and Baszler, I'd like to beat up Baszler too.
Okay.
Because it was really hard for me to watch that show.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I was signed up with Invicta, and I did not go to the tryouts because I felt like Invicta had really taken a chance on us.
Yeah.
And invested a lot in us as fighters. And even though Shannon has been wonderful about encouraging us to do whatever we think is going to further our career, I thought it was a little jerky of all of them to just jump off of the Invicta train immediately and dive right into the UFC when that's not how good relationships work.
Okay. That's a great answer. I like that. That's gonna ruffle some feathers for sure. So besides the Ultimate Fighter cast, you are open to anybody, anytime, any place.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because the fans, I love that attitude. That's a great attitude. I like that.
And I used to always just say anyone, anytime, but then I read an article talking about how fans want to hear someone building up a fight. They want to hear individuals calling somebody else out. They want to hear names.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took that to heart, and that's why I've been working on having a list of names to throw out there.
Excellent. Perfect. In terms of, obviously we've covered your fight. With this, the last time you fought, did you know about the Reebok deal that was coming? You did. When did you fight? You fought Mexico. Yeah. So you knew about the Reebok deal, didn't you?
I think so.
This is obviously also another big one, but I haven't heard very many. I've only heard people asking men fighters, This Reebok deal, how do you think it will affect you? Do you think it will affect you in any way? I know obviously we don't know details. We don't know how much guys or ladies will get paid and stuff like that. But looking at it from your point of view, are you for or against the Reebok deal?
Well, I'm for anything that is going to get the fighters more money.
Yep.
Anything that's going to get the fighters money is great.
Yep.
Because when, I lost sponsors coming to the UFC.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I had Americano was sponsoring me. They made a great shirt for me.
Oh yeah, I know that brand. Yep. I'm with you there.
Yeah. But as soon as I got into the UFC, they said that they were not going to sponsor me anymore because, why did he say? Because I couldn't wear their stuff on UFC cameras.
Mm-hmm. Well, is that because of is that the UFC saying no, or is that Americano saying no, that he doesn't want to be a part of that?
No, the UFC says that in order for any apparel company, this is before the Reebok deal, but before the Reebok deal, for an apparel company to be worn on, to have their logo on a hat, on a banner, on a shirt, they had to pay the UFC sum of money, like thousands of dollars, like $20,000 or $50,000
Wow.
to the UFC,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had to pay the fighter themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if Americana, we'll go for the bigger numbers here, just to keep it exciting.
Okay.
But so if Americana had wanted someone to wear their shirt as a walkout shirt for a UFC fight, then they would have had to pay the UFC like $45,000, $50,000 first.
Yeah.
And then after paying that to the UFC, then they would have to pay the fighter something. Sometimes it'd be like $250 or $1,000. There's a big discrepancy, huh?
Yeah, that's wow. I see. This is the details like that not very many people are aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm trying to wrap my head around that.
It is interesting, right?
Yeah, that's a different.
So other types of companies, it's not every single type of company that has to pay that much money in order to get on the UFC cameras. I think that it's more the apparel that had to pay that much.
Yeah.
So other people like I had an acai sponsorship for my last fight.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they had to pay anything to the UFC. They were able to just pay me directly.
Yeah, that's okay. I see.
Not that I ever got the money for it. They were supposed to give me $500, which I thought was going to be $1,000.
Yeah.
But then as the day came up, all of a sudden in conversations, it became $500. And then I still haven't gotten money from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I think that it's a great thing for fighters that there's going to be an established system for them to get paid from Reebok.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have to beat around the bush. It's a hard thing for me to go up to a sponsor and say, hey, I'm amazing. Give me money.
Yeah. You don't like selling yourself in that way, do you?
No, not in that way. I used to be on a magazine crew for 4 years. Have you ever been at your house or in a grocery store and someone's come up to you and said that they were selling magazines for a contest?
Probably, most probably.
Probably, right. Yeah, just some obnoxious kid coming up to bother you, and if you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile.
Yeah.
You know, and try to get to give them a bunch of cash.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get the magazines, maybe you won't.
Oh, maybe you won't. Yeah.
So I did that for 4 years, and when I finished, it was because I realized that people were not actually getting the magazines. I realized that there wasn't really integrity in that. And so as part of leaving that job, I told myself that I wasn't going to try to sell anything to other people anymore. Okay. And I use that term very loosely, not as in I'm not, going to exchange something for money. If someone wants to buy an old car for me or something, that's fine. But by sell, I meant that I'm not going to try to impose my will on somebody else. Okay,
I get you.
So it's a hard thing for me to talk to sponsors.
Do you not have a manager? Does Caesar not manage you, or are you one of the fighters that just does everything themselves?
Caesar was managing me.
Yeah.
And I did try to do things myself.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful woman named Mary Oliveira.
Yeah.
And she helps me out with sponsorships.
Okay.
And then I had recently signed with the Ballingy Group, and I haven't actually had a fight since I started with the Ballingy Group.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to what kind of opportunities that's going to bring about.
Perfect. So good and bright, prosperous things on the future for you.
Indeed.
Right, if you give me 2 seconds, can we get into... I just want to see if anybody's asked me any questions on Twitter that I haven't got into. Let's have a look. Twitter. I've got lots about the ear. So many. But do you get that often? Do lots of people come up to you all the time? How's your ear?
Yeah, people do ask about the ear, and it's very nice of them to ask about my ear. Sometimes
Mhm.
and this is bad, and I get disappointed in myself, and then I'll go back and answer a bunch of stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm a little bit like, it's sort of public record at this point, I feel like. Like, if someone had been paying attention, they would have seen that my ear is okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's like someone asking questions that they should already know the answer to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every now and then, I
Yeah.
feel like. And then I get so mad at myself for thinking like that, because what a self-centered way to think. Like, it's such a huge compliment that anybody is going to actually take the effort to care in the first place, and then to ask me in the second place that.
And ask you about your injury. Yeah.
So I can recognize that if I get frustrated about my ear, people asking about it, it's only because I am frustrated with how the fight turned out, and I'm disappointed in myself in the fight.
Yeah.
And so, you know how you get frustrated about something that reminds you.
Yes.
Right. So then it's just the association, and so I need to get over that.
Okay.
You know, I appreciate people asking, and it's very nice of them to care about me. And I need to separate the two things: my frustration at the fight and the good intentions of people asking me.
Okay, now I get you. So the majority of the questions on Twitter are about the ear, but I do have just a fun one. I thought was a fun one. What is your favorite cheat day food? If you do cheat days, what do you indulge yourself on?
Oh man. Well, when I'm doing a good job of how I eat,
yeah,
there's no gluten and minimal dairy, and I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
I did eat fish, but I've been cutting fish out recently. It's been super unappealing. So probably my favorite cheat day food is a cheese quesadilla.
Oh, nice. See, now you're making my stomach go. I'm hungry.
Oh man, isn't it a beautiful combo of like simple carbs and that greasy cheese in the middle?
So is that literally the only? Will that just be the one thing, or you just go all day on a cheat day?
Oh, well.
You sound like an all day type of girl.
I guess I am an all day type of girl. Sometimes I will take a break from my dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
And I'll just eat whatever sounds good, because I do believe in my body's ability to tell me what it wants. Like, as a professional athlete, it's very important for me to set rules for myself.
Yeah.
And to follow those rules, because I need to have that discipline. I need to have that consistency.
Yeah.
I need to have that focus that comes along with not indulging my whims every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So I will completely ignore what my body says to me for a long time about needing to get sleep, about needing to take a rest day, about wanting to not do weights anymore, about, protecting my thumbs or my toes or something, or I'll be so hungry for something, and I'll just push that to the back of my mind. I'll ignore the cravings that I have for whatever, because I have a greater focus in mind.
Yeah.
But in a time like this, when I'm just training to get better, and I'm working on becoming a better person and a better martial artist, I try to listen to my body, and if I have a really strong desire for something, then I'll go for it, because I feel like our bodies do tell us when we need something. When we have cravings, then it probably means that we need something.
True. Fantastic. Right, on to the next one. The other one is, any chance of switching up camps to any chance on switching up camps to continue evolving as a fighter? I think we pretty much covered that, but feel free to, if you ever see yourself moving from El Nino.
lucky position, which is that Miesha and Brian have been super nice to me and invited me out to go train with them in Las Vegas. And so I've gotten to train with Robert Follis at Extreme Couture. And that's a great bunch of people. And then there's also Syndicate MMA in Las Vegas. Amanda Lucas. I got to train with her when she was at El Nino Training Center. So I feel like Syndicate MMA is kind of like a sister gym to us here at El Nino, because that's like a second home. So and then you know, I've got these two gyms here, and then there's actually a circuit up here in the Bay Area, in the East Bay, of quite a few different schools. And so I feel like I have got myriad options to diversify and to evolve as a fighter right here already. And I like that. I'm probably never, ever going to leave the Gracie Fighter umbrella. Because there's just so many amazing people that are part of it. But I do like to go travel and train with other people. So it's all available. It's all out there.
Yeah, which is nice. So you've got a nice little array of people you can go and train with and mix things up, etc.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, last one for you. Do you watch any fights? Like, if you're at home and the fights are on, will you watch them, or was there only certain people you like to watch?
Well, definitely I watch the Gracie fighters first.
Yeah.
You know, if Gilbert, Jake, Nick, or Nate are fighting, I'm 100% glued to the TV. Other than that, I'll watch the fights. If I'm gonna have to commentate on them afterward, if I'm gonna plan on doing like a podcast or an interview and we're gonna do a breakdown of the fights, I'll make sure that I watch them then. And that's good for me. I should be spending more time watching fights. But as far like the fighters that catch my eye that I really like watching, I mostly watch the female fighters because they're my competition. And then that's mostly, I like watching Rory McDonald. I really enjoy watching his fights.
Okay, quick prediction for you. Rory McDonald versus it's just gone out of my head. Robbie Lawler. Who's taking that?
It's gonna be Rory.
He's gonna finish Lawler this time?
I think it'll be Rory. What's that?
Do you think he'll be able to finish Lawler?
Well, I think that the higher up that people get, the higher skill level, the more significant the matchups, that the harder it is to get a finish.
True.
I think that the higher level the fight, that the less likely there is that there's going to be a finish. So, man, anytime that there is a finish in title fights and whatnot, then that's great. That's a win for everybody, except for the person who lost. But for the fighter and for the fans, we all win.
Okay, so you reckon Rory McDonald's taking it?
Yeah.
Rory Mac. I think that's pretty much all I've got for you, Leslie.
Alright, cool.
Do you want, I'm going to let you take the floor. Is there anything you would like to say to anybody out there that might be, or might read this or listen to this in terms of you wanting to fight? I know you already threw some names out there, but please feel free.
I would just like to say thank you to my sponsors, Hella High, and who else? We'll just put Hella High on there for now.
Okay.
We'll just say thank you to Hella High.